Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mondays with Mundy. And that's me, Jim Mundy, the historian for the Union League Legacy Foundation. You can probably tell what room I'm standing in, but just in case, let me do this little shtick I do when I give tours of the League House. And forgive me if some of you have heard this before, but the Union League was named the #1 city club in 2012, and we've been the #1 city club ever since. And so I've always joked a little bit that to be a #1 city club, you must have 2 rooms in your clubhouse. And can you guess what the first one is? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. All right, time's up. You have to have a good bar, because without a good bar, there's simply no sense opening your door in the morning because nobody's going to come in, right? But the second room you must have, I think, as well, is a good library. And that's what the Union League has. And one of the reasons I think it is the #1 city club in the country is because we do have such a wonderful library. Now, when the Union League was being organized in December of 1862, many of the original founding members were men who came, who had educations. I mean, they were college educated. They grew up in homes that had libraries in them. And so when they were thinking about what to do in their clubhouse itself, they're over on Chestnut Street, why not a library? So the Union League has had a library since 1863. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful institution within the institution itself. Actually, think of the library perhaps as an oasis of civility within an oasis of civility as well. Because there's just wonderful things in the library besides the wonderful books as well. So we talk about civility. On the south side, we have this 48-inch wide fireplace that has a gas log set in it, and we turn that on as the weather gets chillier, which it's about to do. Already, I think fall is finally here. And boy, you turn that fireplace on and it is just amazing to see and wonderful to feel at the same time. And then we'll also, in the afternoon, put a table here in the center of the alcove, and we'll have port and sherry. Because the fire doesn't warm you up, the alcohol should as well. And as you can see in front of the fireplace, we also have this wonderful globe. That was donated to the library by Dr. Josephine Templeton, known to us, everybody as Pina. And Pina gave us that globe in honor and memory of her father, Orlando Gargiulo, who was a naval officer and naval engineer in the Italian Navy before he emigrated to the United States in the World War II period. So, and those wonderful tufted, Chesterfield sofas. I mean, they're wonderful to sit on in front of the fireplace with a drink in your hand and reading a book or a newspaper. And that's what makes this particular library, I think, such a wonderful oasis within the League House itself, because members know that as busy as this League House can be, and it can be incredibly busy, the library will always be their place of refuge where it's quiet and you can get things done, as a matter of fact. So, and on the north side of the library, to help you get work done, because after all, libraries are about getting some work done, right? Think of libraries in colleges and high schools and things like that. So we have a long table in front of the fireplace at the north end, and it is hooked up so that you can come in and plug in your laptop, your iPad, your iPhone, and start doing some research, whatever it is you want to do. There's also a photocopier in case you need to photocopy something, and of course we have a full-time librarian to boot. Nice to know that we do, isn't it? So that if you need help with anything, you have it right away. And the other thing I think that really makes this library wonderful is that every time we have a survey of the membership to ask them what is their favorite room in the clubhouse itself, guess what they say? Yep, the library, and why not? So the library is located on the 2nd floor of the Horace Trumbauer 1910 edition. The library was on the 2nd floor of the Broad Street building, but was moved down here in 1910. And actually, there were 3 rooms that make up the library. We're in the main reading room right now, which is the one that runs across 15th Street, right, north and south. And then out in the hall, to your left, is the Lincoln Memorial Room, which houses the Civil War collection. And to the right is the Library Lounge, which is the rest of the history collection. Now, this room has everything generally but history. The 2 biggest collections being biography, behind me, for instance, and then literature over in the southwest corner. So architecturally, this room is a wonderful example of Trumbauer's ability to take to kind of like cherry pick different architectural periods and styles and put them together in a space that you normally wouldn't think they would fit together visually or emotionally, but they do. So in here we have these wonderful floor-to-ceiling round arched windows and doors, Romanesque, right, from the Romans. And then the ceiling is a series of 5 groin vaults that were also first used by the Romans when they were building those large brick edifices in Rome, for instance. And a groin vault is where you take a barrel vault and crisscross it, and that creates the groin. So, and yet Trumbauer chose the Elizabethan period and the strapwork that you see separating the groin vaults in the ceiling. So now you're talking about the second half of the 16th century. And then the fireplaces, which you've already seen before, have this wonderful Jacobean belection molding. Of course, the Jacobean period was the first quarter of the 17th century. So again, another example of Trumbauer's ability and his knowledge, all these different architectural periods that he can kind of just blend together in one room and make it work visually. And that's why this is everybody's favorite room, because it does work so well. So, and it works well for the members as well. So again, if you're a member, think of this as your oasis of civility. You want some peace and quiet inside the League house, come on in. And if you're a League member, you have a library card, don't be afraid to use the library either. We're completely electronic. The catalog is on the League's website. You can be anywhere in the world you want, and you can just log on the website and see if we have a book. You can be in a Quonset hut in Antarctica, for crying out loud, and still find out if we have a book. And if we don't have it, you can reserve it. How's that? Service doesn't get any better than that. So. And for those of you who are not League members but watching this episode, well, we have an open house every year in February, usually the Saturday closest to February the 12th. And we invite the public to come in for a tour of the building, and the library is one of the major stops on that open house tour. So you can always, we do public service announcements announcing the date and the times of the tour and things like that. So the information is out there, or you can also contact the Legacy Foundation itself. All right, so Google Union League Legacy Foundation, and there'll be information eventually about the tour. So, what better place to be than the Union League Library? Again, think of it as the oasis of civility within the oasis of civility, and it'll mean that much more to you, I think. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you members come into the library. We hope we see you here sometime, and really enjoy its atmosphere, its environment, and its being a library. So thank you for watching. We appreciate your patronage, your interest, and all that good stuff. And hopefully we'll see you in another 2 weeks. So in between, stay well, stay healthy, stay safe. And thank you for watching. Goodbye now.